Today we have a quite interesting design from Antec with the NX201, and I really love the front panel, which doesn't resemble to any of their cases, and actually the whole chassis is completely different compared to all the Antec cases that we covered so far. So the front is quite interesting. First of all, we have some sort of a look like brushed aluminum with two LED strips on each side, and next to that we have at least 2 centimeters of white here on the side for an intake, which would be, alright. We won't complain about that, but it could be much better, of course. Then again, we wouldn't have this attractive front panel. Now when we go in the inside, we have a completely different story again compared to the other Antec cases. On the front you have the possibility to mount two 5.25 inch DVD readers, writers or whatever. But then again, how will you access it from the front panel since it's closed? Nevertheless, we have a possibility to mount two 120mm fans or one 240mm radiator. Now here's the kicker. The mounting holes are placed to the bottom part. So if you're placing an AIO, this isn't a good position, because if you place the pipes on top, the top part of the radiator will be below the pump, and this means air will go and be stuck in the pump. So what we need to do in this case particularly is place the tubes at the bottom. Now here's the catch again. There's going to be a bit difficulty to reroute the tubes to the processor, just because we have a graphic card, of course, right? So there's going to be a bit fiddling with the tubes and everything. On top you can't place an AIO because it doesn't have space and it wasn't intended to, but we have possibility to mount two 120mm fans, the same thing as we can mount at the back. Now at the back with the case in stock position you get a non-RGB 120mm fan, but in this situation I decided to remove it and place two addressable RGB. Now since the case is stock without front fans, I just left it without front fans to see how it will perform. There's also one more thing. You can place two fans on the power supply shroud to get an extra intake for your graphic card. So let me just show you how it looks from this side and turn it on. As you can see, the front panel really does look outstanding, I would say, and you can adjust the colors here with the LED button and switch it out as you wish. I mean, it has loads of modes and we can go on forever, but yeah, going to leave it at that. So loads of space for a graphic card. You can place even the Supreme X RTX 3070, which has even well, I would say enough space to place radiator and fans, because I think we have around 5 centimeters of clearance and the GPU is 334, so you would be alright with that. Here I placed actually a stock cooler from AMD, just because the clearance for the CPU tower cooler is not that big, since we're talking about 155mm, and I didn't want to place low profile cooler because then it doesn't make sense having a low profile cooler while I have a stock cooler from AMD, because I don't think it would run better than the stock cooler from AMD. But then again, it's all up to personal preferences. I won't go into that. Now at the bottom we have possibility to place up to 190mm power supply, but then again we have a hard drive cage which is locked into a position and you can't remove it or can't replace it or can't do anything with it. And this gives us a bit of a headache when it comes to placing a larger power supply that is fully modular, for instance. Because when placing, for instance, Antec Signature 1000 watts platinum power supply, placing all the necessary cables, so no extra just in case, only necessary cables, I couldn't push the power supply inside because the cables were hitting the hard drive cage. Now I had to use an SFX power supply just so I can reroute the cables and put extenders. There's another thing. There is no hole at the back for EPS cables, so you have to reroute the cable here at the back. There might be an issue with EPS cable length from your power supply, because if you go from the bottom, back, and then back to the rear part of the case, you might have a shorter cable to run it over there. Then extenders might be a good option here to go with. Tempered glass side panel, of course I removed it just so you can see the interior here. Two 2.5-inch positions to place your SSDs on the side, and they don't even bother the GPU. You can place them quite nicely, and that's about it. I would only make a bit more holes for 24 pin for other cables going, and especially at the bottom part where you connect HD audio jack and everything, because you only have literally one hole here at the bottom to go with addressable RGB, PWM and front panel jacks. On the back side, well, I would say that the cable management should be done extremely and perfectly, because even though you have a side part, side panel that is a bit sticking out, it's still not enough space to reroute additional cables such as extenders if you want to make your case look nice. Because I would say that the front panel looks so great, so amazing, and there are some things that are missing that would, you know, just a little more thinking, a little more white on the case, a little bit, let's say a 1 centimeter depth inside would do wonders with this case, and that's it. On top you have a power on button, you have LED button, you have 2 indication lights, you have one USB 2.0, 2 USB 3.0 and 2 3.5mm jacks for your headset and microphone. Now let's talk temperature. Since I placed stock cooler here on the processor, again 5600G, we had temperatures going up to 75 Celsius degrees, and this is the result of not having front intake fans. Of course, placing 2 front intake fans, it will go at around 68 Celsius degrees, and the GPU was stuck at 62 Celsius degrees. So for the GPU that's quite alright, but I think that's because we have quite nice cooling here on the GPU, and maybe doesn't even need an intake fan, but it's always good to have some sort of an airflow that will nicely work without any issues. So all in all, I would say a case that is really nice looking, definitely needs some adjustments, and definitely would be nice to see some improvements on this case, which would make it quite nice budget case without a doubt. Also, I would recommend checking out some other cases from Antec as well, such as NX410, which doesn't look attractive as this one, but it's minimalistic, looks really nice, has 3 fans already pre-installed, nice airflow, and I did a review on that. So Antec NX201, the link is in the description if you decide to check it out with more information and some other details that you need to know. And finally, if you're new to the channel, don't forget to subscribe, hit the like button and hit the notification bell so you don't miss any future videos, because we'll have something cool coming up next. So thank you for watching today's one, see you soon, bye bye.